A beautiful prelude for lovers. We are here at Montalvo Art Center, where we have the Garden of Love down here. This place was built by Senator James Thielen in the early part of the 20th century. We are surrounded by beautiful statues imported from Italy. Fourplay is much like this garden. Your third CD is titled Between the Sheets. Many of your songs have names with sexual undertones and the name Fourplay itself. How did you decide on the name Fourplay, Bob?
Well, I have to take a little bit of the blame for it. We were tossing a lot of names around, and it's always good to grab people's attention with something that makes them talk about it. And certainly in early stages, they definitely talked about what we meant by that, but we made sure we put a U in there so that it would be about four musicians playing music. But our listeners can interpret it however they like.
Was that the precursor to your continuing theme?
Yes, I think it did establish a romantic theme. Our music, we believe, is very often romantic, and we have heard many stories from people that report back to us that their family has been added to as a result of our music.
That's right.
Well, you have these intense tours where you cover many miles in a few days. You all live in different parts of the country. How do you begin the tour?
Well, it has to happen months ahead of time with great coordination through the agent and through the management to get all of us committed first on our calendars. We're all available these dates and these dates. And then from there, we join up and stay together until the end of the tour. So it does take a lot of work out front. And then once the tour starts, it's not a problem.
Would you like to join us, Nathan? Why don't we pull up another...
on this end, because these guys look good, and I'm all gruffy and everything.
Well, you look...
I couldn't get my clothes because everything's locked.
Well, we'll just put another chair in here and we'll add
go
you
behind
in.
those guys.
And we'll just... You always look great.
Oh, come on.
So we'll just add you in a little bit, and we'll just...
But these shoes are what you should be filming.
I love your shoes, and I will definitely be taking pictures of those shoes during the performance. So then you start many months ago. It started with all the planning, and your management does all this planning, I would imagine.
Of course, yes.
So I would think that you start by going to the airport and converging on the first venue. Is that what you do? Because you're all in different parts of the country.
Two of us live in Los Angeles. I live in northern Michigan. Larry lives in Nashville, so we do come from different places. But very often we're on tour individually doing other things too, so we don't necessarily come from home. It's different every time. And it depends where our destination is. Sometimes it's over in the Far East, and we meet over there. But you're right that we converge. And from that point, usually we try to make it at least 2 or 3 weeks, because we're all together, and it's much more practical to book the transportation with all of us as a group.
So you play the first city, and then you have a concert the next day, usually states away. Do you fly, or do you take a tour bus?
We just got off the tour bus. We were in Lake Tahoe, as you know, yesterday, and we took the tour bus from there to here, which was about a 4.5-hour ride. And so it's either, but then we're going to fly first thing in the morning to Denver, so we can go play in Winter Park, Colorado tomorrow night. So it's kind of a combination of both.
So which do you prefer?
Tour bus. Tour bus.
Tour bus.
Tour bus is great. Even today, the scenery was beautiful. We can hang out. We can have our little business conferences. We can have our technology seminars in which we study our iPhones.
Or Gulfstream 5 is not bad. A bad alternative either.
So how do you spend your time when you're on the bus? You all have your electronics happening?
Absolutely.
I'm the newest iPhone person. I'm 4 days old now with that. These gentlemen are much more experienced, so they've been giving me tips and which applications to download. And so we share time like that also.
Oh, how exciting. Then when you play several days at one venue, such as the Jazz Alley in Seattle or the Blue Note in New York, okay, how do you spend your days?
Well, you always try to do something constructive, but we don't want to run out of steam. If we're doing jazz clubs, then we have to do 2 shows a night, so we got to conserve the energy. Recently, Nathan and I visited a Japanese garden during the day while we were in Seattle playing at Jazz Alley. The garden was beautiful, it was very tranquil, and it kind of was as good or better than a nap because we felt very peaceful by the time we got out of there. And I don't know how you felt about it, Nate, but that night I enjoyed the show very much with that
Absolutely.
peaceful feeling from going to the garden.